should you start a GoFundMe page immediately after you had a situation like that where you were on live stream and your license gets suspended and now you're being investigated? And for me, I would say not immediately. I would not recommend you going and doing a GoFundMe page immediately. You want to kind of take the break and sit down and assess the situation and just think about it. You understand? The GoFundMe page after losing your license, especially if it is tied to the live streaming at work or any medication error, can sometimes raise a red flag and potentially make your case a little bit worse. So that is something you have to definitely think about when you are in a situation like this. And why I think you should wait and think it through is the fact that, when it comes on to the investigation, you have to look at it to see that whatever you see on social media, whatever you post, is going to be something that the board can use against you. You understand? And another thing is, when it comes on to public perception, it can be very brutal. It can be very brutal. People can see it as you avoiding accountability, especially if they think that you were raising money off of a mistake. Then that is something you don't want to be in the public's mind when they see you, when you're doing your content. Another thing, it might come across as you trying to profit from some misconduct, or even if it's not your intention, that's how they're going to be seeing it. And I know that, the young lady did her video and a lot of persons are saying that they're not contributing because it's not a case where they thought she was listening to the advice at the time before it had gotten that bad. You understand? The other thing is that when you think about the legal aspect of it, you can cause your case to be a little bit worse, because any statement that you go and put on this GoFundMe page, you do an online post, whatever it is, can be used against you when they're investigating you, when you're doing your appeal, when you're doing your, if there's a lawsuit against you. All of those are things that you have to take into consideration that they're going to be using against you. When you think about, lawyers, when you talk about the board, when they're doing their review, those public content, all of that information that you do go ahead and share on the different platforms, even though sometimes you might just innocently put something out there, the wording of it can come back and haunt you, and that is something you don't want to be happening at this time. So while the case is being investigated, this is a time when you should be staying away from social media, staying away from, anything that is going to cause additional, let's just say, focus on your license or focus on your social media platform, because they're going to want to evaluate whether or not you are the right person to get back this license. You understand? So first thing you want to do is make sure you focus on appealing your case. Appeal your case if possible. You need to go ahead and also speak with an attorney. Get a nurse attorney or a union rep, somebody that is going to be able to understand, somebody that is going to be able to represent you during this lawsuit or this case. Another thing you want to do is make sure you're taking responsibility and accountability privately and also professionally when it comes on to this case. You also want to make sure that you're accessing support. You want some support services such as mental health. When you talk about social media, you don't want that to be something that is going to be causing you to feel depressed, having suicidal thoughts, or homicidal ideations, anything like that. And even with the fact that, your license is being investigated, that can cause you to feel depressed, stressed, anxious, and all of those things. I also want to speak with someone regarding career advice as well, because in the event that you lose your license, you're not able to work as a nurse, you want to know what avenue you're going to be able to venture into, going forward. If, you're doing all of this, then the time when you're at a point where you're struggling financially and you've taken accountability, your license is a loss and that is the final. There is no more appeal that is pending. Then at that time, I think you could go ahead and start a GoFundMe page, because, you have your legal counsel bills that you need to pay for. You have basic living costs that you need to go ahead and take care of. If it's a case where you need to get retraining, you need to re-enter school, then definitely a GoFundMe page will benefit you at that time. But you have to make sure that when you're doing this GoFundMe page, you're very, very transparent. You're very, very humble while you're going back out there on the social media platform to try and gain the trust of people, because you're going out there to ensure that whatever information you provide to them, it's going to encourage them and it's going to show them that, you know, you have changed. So you want to make sure that you're not sharing any information that is going to violate the patient's right or any professional boundaries. And most importantly is that you want to make sure that you're very clear, you're very honest with your explanation as to why you need this GoFundMe, what the GoFundMe is going to support at this time. And if you're able to do that, then definitely you can win the trust of these people. You can win back the trust of the social media platform, the TikTok, the Instagram, the YouTube, the Twitter, all of those different platforms, and they will be able to help you during this time when you need it. If you do it, then I want you to focus on keeping the message around the fact that you accept that you made a mistake, you're taking full responsibility, you are working towards rebuilding yourself. You understand? And the fact that you're asking for support during this difficult time so you can get back on your feet, because we all know that it is a difficult situation. You are struggling, you're dealing with so many things during this time, and you really need the help. And surely, me know that you're going to touch the heart of somebody. You're going to have one or two persons who are going to be willing to give you a second chance at whatever it is that you were dealing with or you're working with. And so the GoFundMe page will work out at that time for you. But doing it immediately, I don't think that's the best time, because sometimes you're not really soaking that well, and you know, really take full accountability. And sometimes, just because of the viral moment, you are just going out there and continuing to be viral when really and truly this is not the time to go viral. So definitely I want to encourage at the beginning or immediately after everything, I would say go ahead, do your let the investigation go, and then at that time you can go ahead and get your GoFundMe page and come back to the platform and introduce it to us so we can go ahead and try to support you. But definitely in the meantime, I would say go ahead and find a job, whether or not it is something where you're packing groceries, you're working in a store, whatever it is that can generate you some income in the meantime, you definitely need that. Because when you go ahead and do a GoFundMe page, it's just saying to other persons out there who are live streaming that if I do mess up, if I lose my license, if my license is suspended, if I am, being investigated by the board, then creating a GoFundMe page can always go ahead and help me during that time. And that is not the information that we want to bring across. That is not what we want. The message, that is not the message we want to send across the persons out there. Because if we do that, you're not going to get the support. You're not going to get the support. You're just going to get people not wanting to be a part of your platform anymore. They're not going to take you seriously as to what you're doing, and so it might turn out to be not beneficial for you in the end when you create that GoFundMe page. But do think about what I'm saying, and if you have anything else to add, go ahead and leave it in the comment box below. And remember to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bell on, and remember to be a part of the Think Nursing channel on YouTube, and follow me on TikTok at Think Nursing 1, where I share information regarding nursing, travel, and lifestyle. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye.